Hello everybody, I'm Josh from Watch It All About. Now, in early 2020, watch enthusiasts all over the world were shocked when a member of the British royal family decided to abdicate his responsibilities. No, I'm not talking about Prince Harry, but rather Christopher Ward when he announced his shock departure from the watch brand bearing his very name. Now, some eagle-eyed fans noticed some funny goings-on right after his departure, namely his name going down as a director for a new company applied to Companies House. As the months progressed, his non-compete agreement expired and Tribus was announced. This is the TRI-01. Let's check it out. Now, this new brand launched with an impressive lineup of watches and boasts the incredible coup of being the official timekeeper of Liverpool FC, the current Premier League champions. Now, as a Liverpool fan myself, certainly very exciting to see this collaboration. However, I'm not too excited about their current defence of the Premier League crown and title. Now, it's key to note that this is a brand led by Chris's three sons, James, Jonathan and Jake. Now, whilst Chris's involvement may get the headlines, his sons, will deserve the praise just as much. So it's my pleasure to be one of the first review sites to get my hands on this, their staple model, the TRI-01. Now, coming in at £1,395, is certainly more expensive than an equivalent model from Christopher Ward, the brand, not the man. Is it worth the extra price? Let's check it out. The TRI-01 is the core collection of Tribus's offerings and is available in a multitude of configurations, just like Cadbury's Dairy Milk Chocolate, which comes in all shapes and sizes and flavours. You know, they even launched a limited edition with crisps in. At the core, it's still Cadbury's chocolate. Now, similarly, yes, this simile is a stretch, I know, but the TRI-01 Small Seconds COSC comes in 5 dial colours with 3 different cases: steel, gunmetal and black. Now, for clarity, this is the teal dial with the gunmetal case. Now, I must admit, I didn't know what to expect with such an unusual colour, but you know, it really is delicious, just like fruit and nut. No kettle chips here. For me, I find that the teal is a real breath of fresh air. It's distinctive, slightly wild and wacky, which fits the bill with Tribus. After all, you know, have you seen their marketing? Everything about them screams alternative, much like Radiohead. For me, it's got to be the Bends as my favourite album. In fact, they themselves say that they don't want to be another vanilla watch brand, and they want to be bold and not be afraid to push the boundaries. Tribus states that their main inspiration here for the TRI-01 was the timeless appeal of small second-hand dials of the 40s and 50s, and I can certainly see what they mean. It has a distinctive vintage vibe to it, but it still looks modern. The dial has a subtle layer of depth to it due to the pleasant, slight concave nature of the small seconds sub-dial at 6, as well as the 3D triangular hour markers at 12, 3, 6 and 9. The viewing pleasure of the dial is exemplified by the beautiful domed crystal, which not only provides excellent clarity, it has a great anti-reflective coating on it, but also it provides a dreamy, mellow distortion at tight angles. Moving on to the case, there's no denying that the gunmetal finish just looks cool. And as expected, you know, you'd expect it at this price point, it's impeccably crafted. What's impressed me actually is the distinction they've still managed to acquire between the predominantly brushed finish and the occasional polished ridge. The solid screw-in crown has the splendid 3 rings logo deeply etched into the end with a really good grip as well. It's really easy to use. It also lines up perfectly every time. I mean, is that fluke? I'm not sure, but I'm really happy to see it, and hopefully it's not a fluke. The case back is secured into place with 6 screws, with an exhibition window in the centre flanked by a brush ring around it with various specifics. Now, if I was spending this much money on a watch, I would always prefer a bracelet, saying that the strap is really beautiful leather, and you would expect that with a watch costing this much. Some might view the buckle as being a bit out of place in terms of the bulky, aggressive design when compared to the slightly more eloquent rest of the watch. I like it, but some may feel it doesn't quite match. Personally, I don't have an issue with it. The polished gunmetal is really appealing, and the engraved written logo on the top bar is really classy. Lume? Well, what lume? You know, they may as well not have bothered with it. Although it's supposed to be X1 GLC1 Superluminova, the hands and hour markers have quite a small slither of the stuff, and it's not particularly very noticeable. That's probably one thing I would really have liked to have seen improved. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I see a watch is powered by Sellita, I just assume it's the SW200, their popular clone of the ETA 2824-2. So when I saw that this watch had the SW261 in it, I was most intrigued. In reality though, I needn't have been, as it just means that it's exactly the same movement, but the seconds hand is at 6 rather than in the center pinion. Now, one vital ingredient that's been chucked into the Tribus pot is that every one of their watches is COSC certified. Now that immediately puts the 1,395 price tag into perspective, as there aren't that many cheaper options than that price point. Now the specs are, you get a high beat rate of 28.8 thousand beats per hour, so that's 8 ticks a second, 31 joules, a 38-hour power reserve, hand and automatic winding, and a hacking seconds hand too. And as it's COSC certified, the average daily rate should be within -4 and +6 seconds a day. So what are my final comments on this watch? Now, I know what most of you are thinking, you know, how can a new luxury Swiss brand, no longer than a year old, charge, you know, nearly 1,400 quid for a watch? Well, for me, if you drill into that question, it seems that many put a lot on the focus on one thing in particular: heritage. After all, if this very watch had an Oris or a Longines logo on it, no one would bat an eyelid. In fact, people would be most impressed with the fact that it's not much more expensive than the Oris Big Crown or Pro Pilot or the Longines Heritage Railroad or Military, yet it's COSC certified. Sadly, I feel that heritage in the watch world is starting to be watered down a little bit. How many times in recent years have we seen heritage bought? That is a name, a brand, or a label from decades ago, reintroduced by someone completely disconnected from that bequest. All that they had to do was pay some dosh to reuse that faux legacy. Therefore, with Tribus, I feel that what should matter most is not what happened in the past, but what will happen in the future. And in all honesty, it looks pretty great. They have experience at the helm in the form of Christopher Ward. They have that incredible coup of being Liverpool FC's official timekeeper, which will maintain their impressive exposure. It's clear that they are in it for the long haul, and they will build their own heritage. So, enough rambling. Do I feel that the watch justifies the price? Or vice versa, does the price justify the watch? I feel it does. It's beautifully manufactured. It has a gorgeous design. It's obviously got COSC specs and it's COSC certified. It's from a new brand that has muscled its way in amongst its contemporaries. And if you're a Man U fan, don't worry, you can still buy one. We won't tell. So there we have it, the Tribus TRI-01. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, also drop a comment below on what you think about Tribus, about their explosion onto the scene, about their pricing, and about their watches. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.